Hey everybody, I'm Delegate Eric Lutke here with our update for the week of the goings-on in the General Assembly. As I mentioned, it's Black History Month. I wanted to highlight some of the Black history here in the State House. So behind me you'll see a painting of a former senator by the name of Clarence Blount. Clarence Blount was the first African American ever to chair a committee in the Maryland State Senate. And his picture hangs here in this room, which is the old House of Delegates caucus room. We call it the Silver Room because it also contains a silver service that belongs to the state now. I wanted to mention two bills that we passed out of the House this week that we're sending on over to the Senate for their consideration. We're to the point in session now where we're moving bills fully out of the House. The first of those bills was introduced by Delegate Jessica Feldmark, who's a new delegate, a freshman delegate from Baltimore and Howard counties. Delegate Feldmark introduced a bill to help support our federal employees. As you may recall, during the recent federal shutdown, we had some workers who were federal workers who were required to continue to work, but they weren't being paid. And unfortunately, under current law, those folks aren't eligible to get unemployment insurance, unlike the federal workers who were furloughed. So those families were really struggling to get by. We had a lot of them having to go to food banks and look for public assistance. So what this bill would do, what Delegate Feldmark's bill would do, is create a new program where the state would be able to essentially help those families get through any future furloughs, if God forbid we ever have another federal shutdown, and then those families would pay back the money once they got their back pay from the federal government. So it's just a way to help those middle-class families make it through any tough times that are created by the dysfunction that we've seen in Washington. So that's one bill. The second bill I want to highlight, we just passed out of the House this morning, actually. It's a bill introduced by Delegate Ebersole, and it's a really simple bill. All it does is add 3 new members to the State Board of Education. 2 of them would be teachers, 1 of them would be a parent. We want to make sure that all stakeholders in education have a voice in the public education system here in Maryland. So we've voted by a bipartisan majority to add those members to the State School Board. Both those bills now are in the Senate. We're hoping the Senate will move on them relatively quickly so we can get them to the governor's desk for his signature or veto and then go from there. I'll have more updates for you next week, but in the meantime, I just want to say have a great weekend.